Hello, it is October 29th, 2024. My name is Melissa Capasso. I'm an artist based in upstate New York. I make paintings and drawings. While my work often contains representational images, and it is really about the art making process and my engagement with the materials and color. I define each series not by its subject matter, but by some formal ideas like definitions of geometrical space or reciprocal relationships. And I try to keep these formal ideas as the underpinnings that engage me with my work. But I truly think of my studio practice as really about me and the wall or me in the studio and not much else. It's about entering the void and pulling out the remnants of the experience actually through my work. I see being an artist as like you're a conductor of energy and you're just sort of sweeping energy into a two-dimensional field or area or space where you watch this dispersion very intently through paint or through drawing. I do not work from any reference material. I do a lot of research outside of the studio, but when I'm working in the studio, it is about me being in that space and time. I grew up on Long Island, and I spent a lot of time on Cape Cod as well, where my mother's family is from. My parents were like hippies. Not really, but they kind of lean that way. Our house was kind of unconventional in some aspects, and the vibe was more hippie than, say, punk, which was also the alternative thing at the time. My dad had a motorcycle and I rode on the back to art lessons. He took me to a lot of music clubs when I was a teenager. And in general, we spent a lot of time with my mother's matriarchal family in Truro, which is on the tip of Cape Cod and near Provincetown, where we all hung out a lot. I think what most influenced me was that I got the sense at a very young age and all through my childhood that life was to be celebrated and perhaps your individuality should not be compromised based on the outside structure. There was a lot of freedom in my life, freedom of expression, freedom to do as you please, freedom to make art. I do not play music in my studio. My studio is not a relaxing place. It is one of carnage or like a mechanic shop. There are kinds of things happening there. There are all kinds of things happening there. Paintings coming into the world and paintings being destroyed. And this happens on a fairly frequent and routine basis. I experiment a lot and there feels like a lot of energetic movement in the studio. Music is basically distraction and only used when I'm tightening up a painting. And if that's the case, I'm usually listening to dance or disco. Art is not a precious object-making business for me. It is about attempting to feel and react. It's very simple, like a daydream, but it's also really difficult. I do not want my work to match your couch. I like when art startles you out of routine life and breaks you from a structured environment. I want the viewer to see from another vantage point or perspective, one that allows them to be vulnerable. I see myself as a female identifying artist with a feminine perspective and one that has been, until recently, historically irrelevant. I think some of the things that come forward in my paintings or drawings are familiar things that women see or identify with, but they just haven't been normalized in an art historical context as appropriate. I love the work of Anna Mendieta and Elizabeth Murray for bringing these ideas forward. I see them as women speaking the language of women, but also just making really wonderful art that stands on its own. Right now, I'm working on paintings that are sort of collage landscapes. They're about how conflicted or opposing ideas can all be true at once. It feels like I'm testing different variables that do not necessarily come together, but then through alchemy and magic become whole. Each ingredient is specific and different from the other, and yet collectively they form a unique whole. The biggest challenge of being an artist is having the task of dragging around your thoughts with you all day, every day. you have to sort of have your antennas up all the time. So you're receptive to all kinds of energies, and it can be really draining and hard sometimes. The other challenge is, of course, making ends meet, finding the time and space to work when you have other jobs or family or pressing responsibilities. This requires true flexibility, and the only way to achieve that is by continuing to make art. It is an inhale-exhale process. The advice I would give to my younger self is to make more bad art and to make it by whatever means possible. In terms of what unconventional aspects I use in my work, I have used bleach, sand, glitter, a mixing of mediums that don't usually chemically mix together but make different things. I have like a lab going in my studio, and I sometimes find true magic there. I have secret painting recipes that will die with me before I say anything about them. I just want to thank you for this opportunity so much. Thank you. Bye.